What's up everyone? If you're anything like me, starting a track can often be the hardest part. So this video is going to be breaking down 3 different chord progressions that sound really nice in lo-fi hip-hop. This is for anyone that really is after some new chord progression ideas, but it's mainly focused at producers because they're quite nice to layer onto as well. I'm going to tell you what keys to solo into and what keys to lay a melody on top of them, as well as breaking down the progression and how you play it. So I'll just demo each progression first, and then I'll break down what I was doing, what the chords were, what the notes were, etc. But let me know in the comments down below what you usually do to start off a new track, to start with the drums or the keys. How do you get your ideas? It'd be great to share this knowledge with everyone. And it's the last week to take part in the competition to win Submit Hub credits and credits to my store for sample packs and merch. So to take part, all you've got to do is like the video and drop a comment in the description down below, and I'll announce the winner next week. But yeah, on to chord progression number 1. So this first chord progression is quite a simple one. It consists of 3 different chords in the key of C minor. The demo was recorded at 62 BPM, and the chords are C minor 7, E flat major, and then F minor 9. So we'll start off with the C minor 7, and the way I'm playing it is I'm not just going play it all at the same time. I'm playing it sort of delayed, arpeggiated, just to give it a little bit more space and keeps the track interesting, especially as you start to layer more different tracks on top of it. Having the sort of variation in the bottom layer can often bring out different elements of the melody and the lead. So the first chord is the C minor 7. We're playing C, G, G sharp, D sharp, and then after that we go to the E flat major. This is actually a second version. We've got the G sharp on the root, so we're playing G sharp, D sharp, G, and then D sharp. So timing wise, the C minor 7 and the E flat major are both in the same sort of bar. So sort of 1.5 bars effectively for the C minor 7 at 62 BPM, and then the rest E major. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're starting the E flat major before we get to the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we move to the F minor 9 for the next bar. So we're playing F, C, G, G sharp, and then in the same bar we're going back to the E flat major with the same sort of timing as the first one. So that's pretty much it. It's only a sort of 2-bar loop, but at 62 BPM it's extended enough that it's quite an interesting progression and it's not too repetitive. So this one, to sort of layer the top melody over, you can play in C minor. It works really nicely over the whole progression, so it's not too much worrying about which notes to play when. You don't have to follow the chord changes with different scales. If you want to keep it simple, just stick to C minor. I'm not the most competent piano player as well, so usually when I'm doing stuff like this with new scales, I don't know, I'll get the scale off my laptop, sort of play through it, find out what sounds nice over the progression, keep messing about, singing the melodies in your head and trying to replicate it on the piano. Or if you're a guitar player, you can always play the melody on guitar first and then try and transpose that into the piano. Have a mess around with it. It's a really great chord progression to start a track off with. But yeah, on to the next chord progression. So this progression is quite a simple one. The key was at C minor and the demo was recorded in 72 BPM. We're just playing 2 different chords. It's a G sharp major 7 and an F minor 7. And because it's just 2 different chords, it's quite an easy one to solo over in C minor. And there's no obscure chord changes or anything like that. So it's just starting a track off with it. Quite a nice one to sort of start the bass off with. So we're playing 2 different chords with a few embellishments to sort of make them sound a little bit nicer. The first chord is a G sharp major 7. The way we're playing that is the G sharp and then a D sharp with the left hand, and then G sharp, C, D sharp, G in the right hand. So what we're doing is we're playing the chord, and then we're playing C, D sharp as the embellishment. Play it again, and then I play the sort of B flat as I transition into the F minor. And for that one, it's the F and the C in the left hand, and then F, G sharp, C, D sharp in the right hand. And the embellishment in this is just playing the chord, G sharp, C, and then again B flat, this time an octave lower, and then it just loops around. So because it's not a really short loop, it doesn't sound repetitive too quickly, so you can play that for a little while. You may want to mix it up again later on in the track, but for a good start of the track, it's a great introduction and it's really nice to solo over. So I'm soloing over with the notes from the C minor scale. So as someone who's not a very strong piano player, usually what I would do if it's a scale I'm not too familiar with is you could just get up on the screen and just mess about with different chords until you find something that sticks. Try and maybe hum it out in your head first and then replicate it on the piano, and in no time you will be fluently sort of playing melodies in that key. But yeah, that's that chord progression, and on to the last one. So this final chord progression is in the key of B minor. It's a minor 2-5-1 progression, and I recorded the demo at 72 BPM again. The sort of names of the chords here are a little bit more complicated, but in terms of actual voicing, it's still sort of a fairly straightforward progression to play. So we're starting off with a C sharp minor 7, flat 5. So we're playing the E and the G in the left hand, and then the B and the D flat in the right hand. Now these are quite simple voicings, so you could, with a little bit of practice, play them in one hand, and then sort of layer in some notes as well with your other hand, but keep it simple. That's the C sharp minor 7, flat 5. The chords don't sound as quite as resolved as the other two progressions, but with the whole pattern it resolves nicely with the B minor 7 at the end. So starting with C sharp minor 7, flat 5, going over to a F sharp 7, flat 9, flat 13, keeping the E and the G in the left hand, this time playing the B flat and the D. So it's, and then resolves with sort of B minor 7, and this is what could be referred to as a rootless B minor 7. So we're playing a D, a G flat, an A, and then a D flat. We're not playing the B, but in the context it sort of acts as a rootless 1, so a rootless B minor 7. So altogether you get this. Resolves quite nicely. On the second pass round, instead of playing the E and the G, for the 2 and the 5, I do E and the G on the 2, E and the G on the 5, so playing the lower G. But other than that, it just loops around. And then again, this is in B minor. It's a little bit harder to solo over. It's not something that I do a lot of myself, but I just messed around with the B minor scale until I found some melody that worked nicely in the context. So yeah, that is it for this week's video. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if it's something you want me to see more of, or you want me to just keep to the guitar and production stuff. That's fine too. Please do let me know in the comments. If you're in need of some piano progressions or MIDI progressions, I've got sample packs that are out with both of those things, so do check them out in the comments down below as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.